Hello everyone, I'm Rosphere, and in this video, I'm going to talk about something a little different from what I normally do. So, what I've been doing recently in gaming, really, is I haven't been playing many MMOs. I have not been playing New World anymore. I think the game's terrible. Like a lot of people say, there's potential there. It's not very good. I have not been playing World of Warcraft. I've been playing a little bit of Final Fantasy. I've been playing a little bit of Trackmania, but I've been playing an absolute mountain of Conan Exiles for a very specific reason. I've liked Conan Exiles a lot, basically since it's come out. I've got nearly 1,800 hours played in the game. It's a really fun game, just in general. Best, by far, survival game that's out there. Just game design in general, just period. Really good. But there's a really unique community within Conan Exiles that doesn't really exist in a lot of other games. The only other game that it really exists in the same manner, at least that I know of, is Grand Theft Auto, right? And that's the RP community. There's a really big roleplay community within Conan Exiles, and it's really interesting and a lot of fun. And that's where I've been recently. I've been playing Conan Exiles RP, and there's a couple servers that are, how do I put this? They're really big as far as like popularity goes, because they're very similar to. The best way to describe this is it's very similar to like a NoPixel for GTA, right? So if you think NoPixel and then move that RP community into Conan Exiles, that's kind of what I've been doing, and it's really unique because. Permadeath is like a really big thing. It's very common to know somebody's character and then next week that character be just gone because they were killed off. Because the lore for the world that I've been playing within is really harsh. Permadeath is built into it, and because of that, everybody's like always kind of paranoid. Hoping that they're not going to be the one that ends up getting killed. Obviously, there's it's like GTA RP, no pixel, but really dark, macabre as far as like what people doing. There's supernatural races, like some people play werewolves, some people play vampires, but those races are very limited as far as like who can play them. For example, new players to the server are not allowed to play those characters. There's a limited number of slots for people who can actually be a werewolf or a vampire or any of the supernatural races like a lich. There's very few of those actual slots available. And they give those to people specifically so that those people can direct RP, right? So if you, for example, are a werewolf, or if you're given you're allowed to play a werewolf, right? Like you apply for it and they give you the ability to play the werewolf. You're then expected to go into the game, create a group, turn other players into werewolves, create your pack, and direct story for other players. So it's more of you're one of the storytellers than an actual role player. You still do role play obviously within the game, but you're expected to direct more of what's actually going on within the server than other players are, for example. So you're kind of expected to create the stories. I don't play that, obviously. I'm a newer player to the server. I wouldn't be allowed to play one of those just because I haven't proven myself. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so the character that I play within this Conan Exiles RP server, which again I won't name for a couple reasons, because I'm going to be saying things that would be considered metagaming. If other people heard it, they could use this information. And it's a very like tight-knit community. I doubt any of them would see this anyways, but yeah. That being said, the character that I play is a spy. I play kind of like a sneaky character rather than like a big bulky character that's gonna run around with an axe and cut people's heads off. So I'm kind of like playing this devious spy role where I'll try to trick people into giving me information. I'll scale walls, climb into their base, sneak around, take documents, things like that, because this server has its own custom mods that are made for RP specifically, so that you can actually play the character like a thief or a spy, things like that. So I walk around the server trying to collect this information, and then I sell the information, like an info broker. I think that's a really fun way to play the game. So I'm just going to go over something that I've done or been part of recently. So recently I'd snuck into, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this without saying exactly like who these people are, and their clan names and things like that, because if they knew what I don't want to like expose it too much, because I know there's a lot of people on the server. So I basically, what I did is there's this castle that, a really big castle with a big group of people, and I was running along and I noticed that there was like 15 horses outside the castle walls, which wasn't normal. Usually there's only one or two horses at most, people visiting, things like that. And because there was like 15, I decided that it would be a good idea to break in. So I broke into this place, and there is lockpicking and all this other stuff within the game. There's a little like mechanics and like mini games and stuff set up so that you can actually pick locks. So I broke in, snuck through the castle, and found out that they were having a meeting in their grand hall, I guess is the way you put it, with the leader. And they were having this big meeting, and I just sat in the corner, hidden in the dark, just out of sight really, but within earshot, obviously. And I was able to eavesdrop on what they were talking about, and they were talking about creating an alliance between these three groups. There's a group on the server that worships Derketo, which is one of the gods. I believe that's how you say her name, Derketo. They worship her, and then there's a group that worships Set, and there's a group of vampires in the jungle, right? And these three were looking at creating an alliance to fight the people who worship Mitra, which is like the opposite of Derketo, I guess, like the opposite of debauchery. There's a group, bunch of people who worship Mitra on the server, and they wanted to take out the largest group of people that worship Mitra, because these people were rather militant, and they're not exactly nice to be around. So I'm hearing that they're creating this alliance, and I know that the group from the jungle are vampires, but the group that the other two groups, the Derketo and the Set group, do not know that the group from the jungle are vampires. They have no idea that they're allying with vampires at the time, which I thought was really funny. But yeah, they had no idea, at least in character, they didn't know that these people were vampires. So, of course, now having this information, I took it to this militant group of Mitrans, right, the people who worship Mitra, and sold them this information. Made a bunch of money for myself, sold them the information on, this thing I had overheard, and so now they know that this group is forming an alliance, which is a rather big group now, because the group of Mitrans is like 4 or 5. And they have like a group of 15 people that now want to take out and kill these Mitrans, right? A few of which are vampires, and they don't know if these vampires are actually going to turn these other two groups into vampires as well, giving them extra powers and so on. Vampires work within the game exactly how you would expect. You can't really go out at night, or you can't go out during the day, because your character will just take damage slowly over time, if you get hit by the sun, which is really cool. Like I said, the server has a lot of custom mods. But during the nighttime, you can come out and you're extra powerful and you have night vision. So yeah, so this group of vampires allied with them, and then there was, supposed to be this war. But then, what ended up happening is there's a group of werewolves up north, and this group of werewolves up north also worshipped Mitra, but the militant group of Mitrans down south do not like the group of werewolves because they're werewolves, and they believe that they're, uncouth or whatever. I don't know. They just don't like them. So they tried to form an alliance with each other, but ended up killing the leader of the werewolves, right? And where we're at now within the story is the group of 15 or so people, along with the vampires, are now slowly building up like siege. Their siege, or preparing their siege around the castle of this group of Mitrans, with catapults and so on, all this other stuff. And then, yeah, like, I don't know, the story is so complex. It was just really fun to be a part of it. I kind of wanted to share it, but that's kind of where I am. Where we're at now is like the Mitrans killed the group, or killed the, oh, I actually skipped over a part, sorry. They killed the leader of the werewolves, right? In this meeting when they were supposed to be, where they were supposed to like join forces. They killed the leader of the werewolves, and yeah, I don't know, like it gets really cool. Like I said, it's really complex. I'm losing track of where I am in the story because there's so many moving parts in it. But yeah, so they killed the leader of the werewolves. Then the werewolves decided to attack the Mitrans, and they're not allied with the other three groups, but the other three groups are building up siege engines and all this other stuff. I guess you could call it siege engines, but building catapults around the castle and stuff like that. And that's where I last saw it. And like I said, I'm kind of an info broker, so I'm listening in on information and selling information and doing all this other stuff in the meantime. And I'm trying to be as vague as possible while still getting the story across, because obviously we're not allowed to stream, we're not allowed to record, we're not allowed to post anything from the server because of metagaming. It's very, very, very strict as far as that stuff goes. For example, someone not too long ago was banned from this server because they had a missing arm, like from their elbow down, and they were caught climbing walls. So, like, that's kind of how this is. If you're climbing and your character can't climb because you don't have an arm, you probably, and it wasn't the only offense. It wasn't the only thing that this player had done, obviously, but, that's something that has happened, right? So, yeah, that's kind of where the story is now. Again, like I said, being vague, so this group of Mitrans has werewolves from the north, and then 3 groups from the south coming after them. And a group of vampires. So they have werewolves, vampires, and 2 other groups, 2 regular groups of people coming after them to try and destroy their castle and stuff like that. It's actually really, really, really interesting to watch and be a part of. Like I said, something I just wanted to share. It's really cool, to be on one of these really serious, like, whitelisted servers in Conan Exile RP. It's one of those things that I don't think gets a lot of the spotlight, mostly because of how good GTA RP is. I haven't done any GTA RP, but I definitely would like to give it a try at some point. But yeah, right now Conan Exiles RP, that's kind of where it's at. I will be playing Season of Mastery when that comes out, obviously here in a couple days, but or depending on when I upload this video, it may already be out. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this, what I've been doing as far as like gaming goes. So yeah, if you like the video, if you like this type of content, drop a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.